The Toyota 4Runner has long been a symbol of reliability and rugged design in the SUV world. In this video, we'll take a detailed look at its evolution over the years, breaking down the key specifications and changes across each generation. From its early days to the latest model, we'll explore how the 4Runner has stayed true to its roots while adapting to the demands of modern drivers. Here's a quick summary of what we're going to cover. Why this topic? As I explained at the beginning, the 4Runner is one of the most reliable, capable, and fun off-road vehicles ever created. I'm going to give an overview of the 4Runner. We're going to go through all of the generations up until the 5th gen. I'm going to review some similar Toyota models and competition, some sales figures, and my personal experience with the 4Runner. You can see it up there in the top right corner. I've had it for 4 years, and it's been an outstanding vehicle. I'll say this in the beginning, if you could please like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps get my video out there, and this will allow me to make more videos in the future. So what exactly is a 4Runner? The Toyota 4Runner, known as the Hilux or the Hilux Surf in some other continents like Europe, Japan, and South America, combines two words: four-wheel drive and off-road runner. The drivetrain came in either four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, depending on which generation and year you buy. The type of vehicle classification is a truck compact / mid-size SUV. I have to say, these vehicles are great on the road. They never feel too big, they're great to drive on the highway, and they're equally as capable and easy to navigate when you're driving off-road. It never feels like it's too large of a vehicle. The official release date was in 1984, and this spans 5 generations from 1984 to present. Just a heads up, for this video, we're going to focus on generations 1 through 5. The country of origin is Japan, and the predecessor to the Toyota 4Runner was the Toyota Trekker, which ran from 1981 to 1983, whereas the successor was the Toyota Fortuner, which is post-2005 in Southeast Asia. Next, we're going to explore 4Runner generations 1 through 5. It all began with the first generation 4Runner, which ran from 1984 through 1989. The engine options were pretty simple. You had either a 2 or 3 liter inline-4 engine, which did come with turbo and diesel options in some countries. The total Gen 1 units sold were 78,999. And some notable features are from 1984 to the 1986 model years. They were imported to the US without the rear seats to avoid being classified as an SUV, which ultimately avoided higher tax rates. This first generation 4Runner was absolutely born from the pickup. It was originally based on the Toyota Hilux pickup, giving it that rugged, truck-like feel, but with also the added benefit of an enclosed rear compartment. This was one of the first SUVs to offer both the off-road capabilities of a truck and the comfort of an SUV. The first generation 4Runner was absolutely revolutionary for its time period. When it was first introduced, it was marketed as a sport utility vehicle with removable fiberglass hardtops. If you take a look at the left-hand corner, you can see the first gen 4Runner without the hardtop, which, as I stated earlier, is essentially a pickup truck for all intents and purposes. You could have your dogs in the back, you could store tools in the back, and when it's time to have the top back on, you simply place the fiberglass on, and now you have a normal enclosed SUV. Unlike many vehicles today, the first generation 4Runner didn't feature airbags or any modern safety tech. However, it did have a reinforced body structure and a solid construction that made it a tough, reliable, and relatively safe off-roader for the time period. Additionally, it has the old school charm. The interior of the first generation was designed for ruggedness rather than luxury, with simple utilitarian controls. It has a classic chunky dashboard with minimalistic gauges and a focus on function over form, which made it into the eventual icon that we know of as the 4Runner today. The second generation 4Runner spanned from 1990 to 1995. The engine options were a 2 or 3 liter inline 4-cylinder engine with an optional V6 engine, with some turbo and diesel options in some countries. The total Gen 2 units sold were 329,814, which is a pretty sizable increase compared to the first generation. This second generation 4Runner represented a fundamental departure from the first gen 4Runner, as it featured a full steel body-on-frame design without the truck cap. Essentially, this second generation 4Runner was more like an SUV and less like a pickup truck, as was the first gen. Additionally, this was the first V6 model 4Runner offered, which was a pretty sizable increase in power compared to the first generation. The second gen 4Runner was a full-size SUV with compact dimensions. Although it was technically classified as a mid-size SUV, this vehicle had a compact footprint compared to other full-size off-roaders of the time. This made it an excellent balance between urban drivability and off-road capability. Additionally, it came with an improved suspension over the first generation. This included a new independent front suspension design, which had improved ride comfort and handling on both paved roads and off-road terrain. Finally, the second generation 4Runner was the first gen of the 4Runners to offer the SR5 trim. This was aimed at customers looking for a little bit more luxurious of a ride and more convenient features inside their off-road vehicle. This had items like air conditioning, a more refined interior, and upgraded seating. So although the second generation was equally as off-road capable as the first, you had options for more luxurious interior features. The third generation 4Runner ran from 1996 to 2002. This came with either a 2.7 liter or 3.4 liter inline four-cylinder with a V6 optional engine with turbo and diesel options in some countries. The total units sold for the third gen were pretty impressive. It came in at 750,130. Some notable features about the third gen is that this is one of the most sought after 4Runner generations of all time and considered one of the most off-road capable by 4Runner enthusiasts. This V6 for the third gen 4Runner was very powerful. A 3.4 liter 5VZ FE that became known for its reliability and torque. It was capable of producing 183 horsepower and 217 pound-feet of torque, which made it one of the most powerful engine in its class at the time. This paired very well with both the 5-speed manual and automatic transmissions available, offering excellent off-road capabilities. Another important thing to note is that Toyota came out with its active torque transfer system for this generation. Some third-gen 4Runners, especially those equipped with full-time four-wheel drive, featured this system, which was designed to automatically adjust the distribution of power between the front and rear wheels based on driving conditions, which improved traction when driving off-road or driving in adverse weather conditions. The third-gen 4Runner is so popular because it is regarded as one of the most reliable vehicles in Toyota's history. It's known to very easily exceed 300,000 miles with proper maintenance thanks to its robust build and the simplicity of its mechanics. Many owners report that their third gens are running smoothly well into the second decade of life, which is a testament to Toyota's engineering. Speaking from personal experience, as the third gen 4Runners begin to age out and become older, they're getting hard to find in good condition. Yes, you can find a third gen with 300,000 miles on it. Yes, you can find a third gen with 4 or 5 or even more previous owners, but it's hard to find good, clean examples of these 4Runners. So as they become older, good condition 4Runners from the third generation are becoming increasingly harder to find, which segues nicely into our next topic about the fourth generation 4Runner. The fourth generation 4Runner was an impressive successor to the previous gen. This generation ran from 2003 to 2009, and it had two really unique engine options. The first option was a 4.0-liter six-cylinder, whereas the second option was a 4.7-liter V8 engine. Yes, you did hear that correctly. The fourth generation 4Runner had a V8. Something interesting to note, the 4Runner never had a V8 before, and it never offered a V8 again after the fourth generation. The 4.7-liter V8 comes in at 235 horsepower. It has an impressive 320 pound-feet of torque and a towing capacity of 7,300 pounds. The combined fuel economy is about 17 to 18 miles a gallon, which really isn't too bad considering the type of vehicle this is. The 0 to 60 acceleration is about 7.5 to 8 seconds, and this is a dual overhead cam engine. The drivetrain options are either a part-time four-wheel drive or a full-time four-wheel drive system. The 4-liter V6 is equally as impressive in its own right. This comes in at 245 horsepower, which is actually 10 more horsepower than the V8 engine. The torque is 282 pound-feet, which is less than the V8, and this is where the V8 really shines. Although the V8 has 10 less horsepower, that torque really makes a big difference in everyday driving on the highway and driving off-road. The V6 offers a 5,000 pound towing capacity and a fuel economy of 18 to 19 miles per gallon combined, which is only slightly better than the V8, which is a much bigger engine. The acceleration for 0 to 60 is about 8.5 to 9 seconds, which is pretty good for the engine size. And again, similar to the V8, the engine type is a dual overhead cam. Similar to the V8, the V6 also offers a part-time four-wheel drive system or a full-time four-wheel drive system. This generation featured a more modern and refined design of the vehicle compared to the previous generations, which is characterized by a more rounded aerodynamic shape while still maintaining its rugged, off-road ready character. The aggressive front grille and wide stance gave the 4th gen a bold, muscular presence both on the road and on the trails. Simply put, the 4th generation 4Runner is a beast off-road. This generation offered Toyota's active traction control called A-Track, which was a game changer for 4Runners because it allowed the vehicle to automatically adjust the power distribution between the wheels to improve traction, especially when you're driving on uneven terrain. This made the 4Runner even more capable off-road. This gen also featured a variety of interior upgrades. The 4th generation brought more luxury and comfort to the 4Runner as it offered a optional 8-speaker JBL audio system, which I have in my own 4Runner, leather seating, heated front seats, and automatic climate control in some higher trims, which makes it a more refined driving experience overall compared to previous generations. The nav system in certain trims was also a highly desirable upgrade at the time. Additionally, for families, it has a rear cargo area with a sliding deck and really just has an overall focus on on-road comfort. The coil spring suspension system offered a much smoother ride on highways and city roads, making the 4Runner more versatile for daily driving without sacrificing that off-road capability. Considering all the upgrades of the 4th generation 4Runner compared to previous years, it tends to be pretty divisive in the 4Runner community. It has a V8 engine, it has upgraded off-road capability, it has increased interior comfort, but many 4Runner owners think that the 4th gen was too much of a departure from the original 4Runners with their rugged, off-road look and simple interiors. Nonetheless, as the 3rd generations age out, the 4th generation 4Runners are becoming more and more popular, especially because this is the only generation to ever offer that 4.7 liter V8. The 5th generation 4Runner is the last generation that we're going to cover in this video. I know I stated it already, but the 6th generation won't be featured in this video, and I may make a video in the future. The 5th generation 4Runner runs from 2010 to present day in 2024. The engine options were pretty interesting. For 1 year, it featured a 2.7 liter inline 4-cylinder, but the majority of the 5th gens produced were the 4 liter V6. This sold 873,049 units at the time of this video, and this generation developed a modern aesthetic with more luxurious interior options as well as advanced four-wheel drive technology. This gen has some pretty interesting styling. If you look down on the bottom left, that's a traditional SR5 4Runner. It looks like a lot of the other generations, but still a very nice aesthetic vehicle. In the middle is Toyota's limited trim for the 5th gen. You see these everywhere, in any parking lot. If you go to Costco, if you go to the mall, if you drive around town, you'll see everybody from true off-road enthusiasts all the way to soccer moms driving these vehicles. And on the right-hand side, one of my favorite Toyota colors of all time, Voodoo Blue. So although this 4Runner is a newer generation, it still features a lot of those more classic stylings with some more upgraded interior features. This is one of the last true body-on-frame SUVs. Toyota stayed true to the rugged, off-road ready body-on-frame construction, ensuring the 4Runner continues to be a durable and tough off-road vehicle. Additionally, this generation features some modern infotainment and safety tech. It's equipped with Toyota Safety Sense, which includes pre-collision system, lane departure alert, dynamic radar cruise control, and automatic high beams in more recent models. This makes it a safer ride for both on and off-road driving. I personally don't need these modern safety features when I'm driving my 4Runner. I've driven my 4th generation for 4 years now with no side view mirror markers, no backup camera, no collision sense, and I find it to be totally safe, and I prefer it that way. The less technology I have, the less to go wrong. However, the market dictates what is made with these vehicles. A lot of people buying a newer vehicle tend to like these upgraded safety features and upgraded infotainment features. Here we have a quick summary of the 4Runner through all of the generations 1 through 5. Gen 1 ran from 1984 to 1989. This was the original 4Runner, which acted and functioned much like a pickup truck. As we moved into Gen 2, it slowly transformed into the 4Runner as we know it today, with some upgraded interior features and upgraded off-road features. Gen 3, from 1996 to 2002, is the old school, rugged 4Runner that most people think about when they think of a classic off-road capable vehicle. Gen 4 introduced some new technology and introduced the V8 engine for that generation and that generation only, whereas Gen 5, which runs from 2010 to present, is the modern, aesthetic, clean, upgraded 4Runner with a lot of interior comforts. It will be very interesting to see how the 6th generation 4Runner plays out, giving pricing and different engine options available. As much as we love these vehicles, it has its fair share of strengths as well as weaknesses. On the strength side, this is a remarkably off-road capable vehicle. As we've stated, it has 4-wheel drive, a body-on-frame design, downhill assist control, and vehicle stability control, which makes this a phenomenal vehicle to get you anywhere in the world you need to go. It's extremely reliable and safe. It has a 4-star crash safety rating. The 4Runner has a roomy and comfortable interior with plenty of storage space. The driving experience, whether on-road or off-road, is extremely smooth. It's designed primarily for off-road use, but offers a smooth highway ride. The retro boxy design is highly desirable. While many people might say this is not innovative, anyone looking to buy a 4Runner appreciates the vehicle for that fact. This boxy design has maintained the 4Runner's cult following. To begin with the weaknesses of the 4Runner, gas mileage is not great. If we look at a 2021 4Runner, you average 16 miles per gallon city and 19 miles per gallon on the highway, which, as I've stated, is not terrible for such an off-road capable vehicle, but not great in terms of standards of modern vehicles. However, anybody going into buying one of these 4Runners understands that, and that does not deter most people who want a capable vehicle. Technology-wise, the 4Runner has always been a little antiquated compared to its peer classes. Again, the purpose of the vehicle is to be able to get you anywhere in the world you need to go. So many buyers aren't afraid to sacrifice that outdated technology for the fact of all of the capabilities that the 4Runner offers. Powertrain and drivetrain-wise, the transmission and engine, while reliable, are overdue for an upgrade according to the market buyers. Price-wise, 4Runners are priced remarkably high compared to similar competitor models, especially as the 5th gen is on its way out. Those 5th gen 4Runners are becoming higher and higher priced, as well as some earlier models, given the fact that the 5th gens are now so expensive. I listed the retro boxy design again in the weakness category because this design is popular among enthusiasts. However, other market segments view it as outdated. So again, I like it. You viewing this video probably like it, but a lot of people looking for certain vehicles want something that may be a little bit more aerodynamic and a little bit less boxy. As unique as the Toyota 4Runner is, the company did produce some similar vehicles. On the top left-hand corner is an older Toyota Land Cruiser, which may even be more capable than the Toyota 4Runner off-road. On the top right, again, is a Land Cruiser, but this is the Land Cruiser 200 series. The 200 series is one of my favorite vehicles of all time besides the 4Runner. It featured a 5.7 liter V8, good modern styling while still maintaining that classic look, and this is an extremely capable, powerful, and comfortable vehicle. On the bottom left, we have a Toyota FJ Cruiser, which is a pretty interesting car and very similar to the 4Runner in terms of size. It actually shared some components with the Hummer H3. These vehicles also have a cult following and are going up in price more and more every month. An important fact to note about the FJ Cruiser is this vehicle has 3 windshield wipers. Finally, on the bottom right, I have a first generation Toyota Sequoia. These are interesting because these all came with the 4.7 liter V8 as the only engine option, which is the same exact engine as the 4th generation 4Runner V8. The 4Runner in the 4th generation had some pretty bad frame rot issues, which never received a recall similar to the first generation Sequoia and the first generation Tundra. It's very interesting that every other vehicle of this generation received that recall except for the 4th generation 4Runner. It's also worth taking a quick look at some similar competitor models to the 4Runner. On the top left, we have a Jeep Wrangler, which has huge aftermarket support and a cult following similar to the 4Runner. On the top right, we have a Ford Bronco, which has been very popular in the last couple years. The bottom left is a Chevy Tahoe, which is not quite the same vehicle as the 4Runner, but it's worth mentioning in this context. Finally, we have a Land Rover Defender, which has stood the test of time. It's very popular and definitely more expensive than the 4Runner. Here we have sales figures from 1984 to 2020. The Toyota really began increasing in popularity from 1992 to 1998. You can see the slight dip in sales in 2000, as well as the dip in 2008 to 2012. The '08 dip can easily be explained by the financial crisis, and it definitely picked back up in 2012 all the way to 2020. The Toyota 4Runner continues to be one of the most popular and best-selling off-road vehicles of all time. The final chart here shows 4Runner sales by generation. To no surprise, Gen 5 has been the top-selling generation to date, followed by Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 2, and Gen 1. Although some generations were better selling than others, the 4Runner continues to be a popular vehicle with a lot of demand for every generation. To conclude this video, I'm going to offer some personal insight into my experience with my 4Runner. I have a 2004 Toyota 4Runner Limited with the 4.7 liter V8 with a little bit over 200,000 miles. I'm somebody that's had a lot of vehicles in my life. I've driven a lot of places, and I can unequivocally say my 4Runner is my favorite vehicle I've ever owned in my entire life. Here in the photos, you can see some of the trips I've taken, some of the places the 4Runner has got me to, and it's even saved my life in a major flood. If you're thinking about buying a 4Runner, regardless of generation, it is absolutely a good decision, and you're going to have a reliable vehicle that can take you anywhere in the world. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please subscribe, like, and comment. This really helps get my channel out there, and this allows me to make videos in the future. If there's anything different, if you want longer videos or shorter videos, please let me know in the comments. And again, thank you for watching.